Alright guys, so if you remember a few weeks back when we got this V-Jump scan, it was leaked very early, courtesy of Shonen Games and some other people. We had info on Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta, but at the bottom of the scan, we also had news of the upcoming Extreme Z Awakening event, which will be the family Kamehameha trio that takes out Broly in the second Broly movie. The Goten, the Gohan, and the Super Saiyan Goku. Notice all three of them will go up to level 140, and all three of them will have their own medals. And if you guys look, the date is the 8th of May that will take place. And if you guys look down here, it is already the 2nd of May. So this will be about 6 days away. So I figured, why not go ahead and try and look at, how much these cards might improve. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the trio of cards, the Goku, the Gohan, and the Goten. We'll look at some previous Extreme Z Awakenings and how they were buffed, and then try and figure out what they might do with the Goku, Gohan, and Goten. And then we'll also kind of look, to determine what the weakness for the category would be. I've kind of narrowed it down to 3 possibilities. Pure Saiyans, which probably not, but it's possible. Movie bosses, I would say, is very likely. Like, that's a very possible candidate, especially with Turles, the leader, as an AGL type, and 2 of the 3 units will be SCR. And then also, I think could be possible is the Majin Buu Saga category. Probably the Buu Saga or the movie boss, so I would think would be the weakness for this category. Alright, so the Goku, right? He does supreme damage, and then when HP is 30% or above, he gets Ki 3 and attack 5,000. Now, I could say for Goku himself, I could see them bumping supreme damage up to immense, because if we take a look at it, Super Saiyan 3 Goku here, he did go from supreme damage to immense damage. We have the second Extreme Z Awakening. Now, mass damage is equivalent to extreme. So this Broly basically went from extreme to supreme. We have this Gohan right here. He went from supreme to a supreme. And then full power Frieza, he stayed from, immense to immense. So I would say either the Goku or the Gohan, possibly both, could be upgraded to immense damage, because they don't do anything else on their super attacks, right? They don't greatly lower defense, they don't greatly lower attack, stun, seal, anything like that. And honestly, I'm not so sure I would see any of those being applied. A more likely possibility, if they don't get immense, of course, would be something along what Frieza got, defense 30% for 3 turns. This Gohan raises allies attack by 20% for 1 turn, and Broly here raises attack for 3 turns, and then this Goku, he goes from lowers defense to greatly lowers defense. So, judging by the way the, family Kamehameha acts, all 3 of them together, I guess I could see, some sort of buff around the lines of, all allies attack by 20% or 25% for 1 turn. A very similar effect to what the AGL and physical Super Vegetos have. That could be a possibility. Or maybe they will raise their attack or raise their defense. Now, Gohan in particular, there are several Gohan cards in the game that do raise his attack. Mostly Ultimate Gohan cards. But I suppose I could see him doing that. Now, I don't know how similar or different the Goku and Gohan could end up being. Also, looking at their leader skills, right? So, Goku, AGL in an SCR type, HP attack and defense 30%. Looking at how the previous Extreme Z Awakening's leader skills have buffs. Goku went just straight to Super Vegeto's leader skill. Broly went just straight to Omega Shenron's leader skill. Gohan was a little bit of a unique case in that he is a Namek Saga category. So, think about it. Could these guys become, there's a movie bosses category, could they become a movie heroes category? Personally, I don't think so. I don't think this would be the time for that, because that is a category that, that would sell a lot of money, right? A movie heroes category, because you'd have Gogeta, LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku would be in there. You would have Pikkon, tons of Super Saiyan Vegetas. Super Saiyan 2 Gohans, like a movie heroes category would be very, very profitable for them in terms of like money. Like the Namek Saga category, you've got the two titans like, Frieza and Goku, but I don't think a lot of the other characters are as hype as many of the movie hero characters could be in terms of like Dokkan Fest units or just banners that would get tons of people to summon. So I don't think they'll do what Gohan's did and change into like a category leader skill. But that is like a possibility, right? Like, especially because with Dragon Ball Legends on the horizon, it does seem as though Dokkan is very interested in improving. Talking specifically, the Japanese version of the game has been improving just steadily. Like in 2018, like it's just been going up and up and up with positive changes. Tons of new free-to-play units. Banners have now had the GSSR concept introduced to them. Just a lot of positive things happening lately. I could see them make this trio of family Kamehameha units like very good as leaders in some way. And then Frieza's, of course, his leader skill changes to what the legendary Super Saiyan Broly's is, because all three of these kind of like OG type leaders, the Ki 3 to the type and then Attack 3000, all three of them like have the same leader skill. So it's very difficult to tell what these guys might do. Like I really could see it being something like maybe they would get like Khalifa's leader skill of like 50% buff to all types and then like 2 Ki. I think that could be a very realistic, or maybe even Mass Saiyan's leader skill. A lot of this too does depend on how difficult the event is, right? Like if we also look at these units, like Goku's was by far the hardest, even still, easily. And he got the most substantial buff, getting that immense damage, getting attack 120%, as well as a defense 70% buff. And then the way his stats really jumped up, getting, almost 3,000 attack and health, like that's a substantial increase right there. Now, Broly's is probably the second hardest, and again, Broly also got a substantial buff. He went from maybe I would say, on the list of worst TUR units in the game, I would say without question, he was the worst Dokkan Fest exclusive unit. But after his Extreme Z Awakening, he is definitely not on any list of worst anything. He is a very, very solid unit. If you have this guy rainbowed, he actually, can be on par with an LR Broly who doesn't have any dupes. So that's a good, that right there, I think speaks volumes to how good of a feature Extreme Z Awakening is, that a unit can kind of get close to like a summonable LR level. Obviously, though, that's a rainbow Extreme Z Awakening Broly and an LR Broly with no dupes. Once LR Broly gets any dupes, this guy becomes irrelevant. That's just how it is. I mean, he does have defense after he attacks, though, whereas Broly, LR Broly, he just, he lowers his defense after attacking. So, he had this substantial buff. His event was also difficult, but not as difficult as Goku's. Gohan's was very, very easy. You can easily do this with a free-to-play team. The Ginyu Force category team, I believe, is more than enough to beat Stage 30 and get all of the medals you need for Gohan's. This is nothing but a gift to players as part of the 3-year anniversary. It's not really difficult, and this Gohan is quite good, too. Especially for a free-to-play unit, he's easily, I would say, one of the best free-to-play units in the game. And then Frieza's was incredibly simple. One reason is because this Gohan, his Namek Saga category and his leader skill is used to beat this Frieza. So as a consequence, I think because this Frieza is very easy to defeat, his buffs were also minimal, as well as this Frieza was also, like, he was already top tier. So obviously they were concerned about making him too good, considering he is a unit that has been on several banners featured and is, at this point, over 2 years old. So I totally understand with kind of the hesitation they would have in, like, really buffing this guy. So, looking at all that, like, a lot of these buffs that the Goku, Gohan, and Goten might get are going to be determined, I think, on how difficult the event is, which also leads us to this. Like, what category they'll be weak to, I think, determines how hard or easy this can be. Like, if they're weak to the pure Saiyan category, that could be kind of tough for... could they be to... I was going to say, could they be weak to the Hybrid Saiyan category? Because Ultimate Gohan is on a banner right now, but I would say no. It's more likely that Ultimate Gohan was on that Blue Vegeta banner just because Broly's Extreme Z Awakening was active at the time. Oh, and then the fact that Broly's Extreme Z Awakening is active right now and will be until after Gohan, Goku, and Goten's Extreme Z Awakening, that does, I think, put more evidence leaning there that the movie boss category is what they're going to be weak to. But if it is Blue Vegeta in the Pure Saiyan category, you will have many options, you'll be able to get this Vegeta, because I think his banner's around to, the 20th or something like that. So, he'll be around for a while, while this event is up. So people will know, okay, in order to beat this, I gotta go get this Vegeta. That's the type of move that, Akatsuki would do. So, do keep that in mind. Now, if it is the Pure Saiyan category, I do think this Extreme Z Awakening event would be a joke. So, in particular, what we're looking at here is tech units to beat Gohan and AGL units to beat Goku and Goten. Obviously, AGL is quite covered, with Turles, Great Ape Turles. You'd have LR Majin Vegeta. You'd have Blue Vegeta. Super Saiyan God Goku's very good. This Super Saiyan 3 GT Goku's good. Caulifla, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, the Blue Gokus and Vegetas, Super Saiyan 3 AGL Goku. I don't really foresee much struggling. Then, of course, you'd have LR Goku, Mass Saiyan, Super Saiyan 3 Broly, Angel Tech Goku. Just a lot of options there. So I do kind of want to rule this out, too, because I do think it might be a little too easy. Now, the movie boss category, the more I think about it, the more I do think this is what it's going to be. So let's talk about the Buu Saga category first. The Buu Saga category, while there is a good chance it could be them, one reason is because they are actually in this category. There's Gohan, and then here is the Goku and Goten. I've heard many people say, and I do think it's probably going to be true, that the Majin Buu art category will actually be used to beat the Int Gohan's Extreme Z Awakening event. Him and Cell will definitely have Extreme Z Awakenings coming. They're not going to do 3 of those 5, key 3 and then 3,000 attack leaders, right? Int Gohan and Tech Cell will be getting Extreme Z Awakenings. So they'll probably save this category for Gohan. And then I could see a situation where they introduce some sort of Cell art category or Android art category at the time, when Cell will get his Extreme Z Awakening, and then you'll use that to beat Cells. I do think that is very likely. Now, if in the circumstance the Buu Saga is the one, again, we're looking at AGL and tech units. So again, you'd have Majin Vegeta, as well as LR Trunks and Goten, which are phenomenal. LR Mr. Satan is actually, I would say people don't realize how good he is. He's a good unit. You do have to, rainbow him and put a lot of Zenny into it and SA20 him. But once you do all that, LR Mr. Satan is actually a very viable option. But, of course, the AGL units are still quite good here. You have this Gotenks, who's not bad. This Goten, who's really good. You have AGL Super Vegito, who you probably wouldn't be able to use, though, if you're using a Buu Saga Arc team, because obviously Physical Super Vegito would be the leader there. You do have Super Saiyan 3 Goku, the Extreme Z Awakening Gohan himself. This AGL Ultimate Gohan is solid, and then the Super Saiyan 2 Goku is good with his ki buff. And then the tech units, you'd have Angel Tech Goku, Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. You'd have the free-to-play Angel Goku, who, if you have Rainbow, could definitely help a lot. This Super Saiyan 2 Goku he's okay. And then this Super Saiyan 2 Tech Goku, I think more so his role moving forward would be as kind of a key battery for LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku, who is not on this category, so I don't really think he would be that useful. So there's not a lot of good tech options, really, mainly just the Super Saiyan 3 Gokus and LR Mr. Satan. But the movie boss category, I think, is much more likely what we're going to see. So if this is true, then Turles will be incredibly important. Turles, Great Ape Turles, AGL Bojack, AGL Frieza are going to be studs for this event. That's interesting, because I actually have the Bojack and Great Ape Turles Rainbow. They could be very good. Tapion and this AGL Beerus could be solid options. Again, tech units could be important as well. So we have this Tech Turles, but, AGL Turles is the leader of the category, so you're not really going to be able to use him. But Tech Golden Frieza, another very solid option. Tech Cooler is actually, a little underrated. He's not as good as a physical cooler, but he is a solid option nonetheless. So you could definitely utilize him to help take out that Gohan. Because, like, other thing is, in this event, like, are you going to fight all three of them at the same time? Like, some stages are you going to fight, like, AGL Gohan. Other stages you'll fight, like, SCR Goten or Goku. Like, it's going to be very interesting to see exactly how they do this event. Like, I like that they're doing 3 units at once because that opens up a lot of possibilities. This free-to-play Android 13 is actually very, very good. It's just it's kind of difficult to get them because you need Battlefield medals. Now, Battlefield has been out basically 4 separate times for JP, though. So at this point, like, even newer players to JP, I guess kind of like myself, would have had opportunities to get some Battlefield medals, so you might be able to awaken him. Bio Broly could be another good option. He was very good for Super Saiyan 3 Goku's Extreme Z Awakening event as well. And then Tech Beerus, if you have Tech Beerus Rainbowed, here's the thing about Tech Beerus, right? He does have an S rank potential system. So, if you rainbow him, he'll be able to hit kind of hard. The problem is he's just so outdated with that attack 60% at start of turn. If this guy got an Extreme Z Awakening, he would be a true beast. But as of right now, he does not have it. So there's kind of going over the possibilities. Now, going back to Goku, Gohan, and Goten, I think realistically, like, we could see Goku maybe go up to, like, immense damage. And then maybe, like, when HP is 30% or above, he gets that 3 key, and then maybe, like, attack 90% or attack 100%, I think could be possible. And then I don't think his links will change. His stats, like, probably about 3,000 additional stats to all 3 of these units. Attack and defense and health is probably likely. They don't change the 12 key multipliers either. Gohan, same thing. He could either go to immense or maybe something like supreme damage, and then he raises his defense on super, or he raises his attack on super. I could maybe see him going up to, like, attack 100% when performing a super attack. Maybe a max of 120%, but I don't know how much they would jump that, considering with full power Frieza, they didn't want to raise his, and they only gave him a defensive kind of buff, really. So, I don't know. I can see them raising it a little bit, but he already does have, when performing a super attack, which does equate links and support type passives, so he's going to be able to do good damage there anyway. Going to Goten. Now, Goten, I think he'll stay with supreme damage. Definitely could get either a defensive buff or, like, an attack buff to all allies. I think, changing, like, his orb changing passive won't change, but then he could get, like, an attack anywhere from, like, maybe like 50% to like 100%. Like, this Goten could low-key be a very, very good option for something like the Hybrid Saiyan team. Like, if he's able to change orbs, which would help out something like LR Gohan or LR Trunks and Goten on the Hybrid Saiyan team, but then at the same time, he could get, close to 100% attack buff, he would be able to do a good amount of damage as well. And then, of course, if his attack is, 16,500 at that point, he'll be able to do some really decent damage. So, I'm very excited to see all 3 of these units. Other thing is that they're very, very common units. Like, I would think most people, if you've played the game for like a year, I would say at that point, and you've summoned using stones, you probably have one of these 3. So that's another good thing. Very easy to obtain. They also, I believe, were on the most recent Redstone for JP, and I believe there was like a Pilaf's Trove thing you could get them with on Global as well. So we'll see. Either way, only a few days left until the event will be taking place, and we'll see, like, what actually happens, what category they're weak to. I would say it's very highly likely that it will be the movie boss category, though. So definitely stay on the lookout for that. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch y'all next time.